Okay, today is October 7, 2017. Welcome to another stock market update. Last week, the market had a great week. It closed at a new all-time high once again. And so let's quickly take a look at the indexes, and then we could check out some of the stock and see what one might expect for the coming weeks. Okay, let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial. On a weekly chart, you can see a nice solid week up. And on these indexes, I'm just going to go to the weekly, so we kind of maintain the big picture. And then on the ETF, which we'll in on the daily. And looking at the transportation, got a little bit of a spinning top here, so it could be a little bit of a warning sign that we might be getting a little bit of tire up here. So we just have to keep an eye on the other indexes and the market internal, mainly the market internal. And then you can see the S&P 500 also had a nice week and made a new all-time high. Likewise for the NASDAQ 100, remember we were talking about that as the NASDAQ 100 was kind of lagging behind all the other indexes, will still maintain the fate, the fate or that it will come up and make a new all-time high, and which it did. It did not disappoint us. And the Russell 2000 continued to show strength, and as you can see that a lot of people was looking at this particular trend line up here, this channel as a major resistance, and as the market have proved once again, when it become obvious, the market will never buy to the majority. It's basically the good old saying, the market will fool majority of the people most of the time. Okay, and right now a lot of people are eyeing this 1618, so I wouldn't be surprised that it will just punch right through and get up to the 200 extension here. Okay, so we'll see. I mean, anything is possible. And right now, also looking at the New York Composite, the New York Stock Exchange Composite also made a new all-time high for the week. And so did the NASDAQ Composite. So let's go and take a look at the ETF, starting out with the Diamond. And let me switch over to the daily here. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the daily chart. And as you can see, that we still maintain these level here, and it went up, tagged this 200% extension, and it's kind of having a little bit of an inside day on Friday. So if we're going to see a pullback, we probably see a pullback back to this 223.90 level here. Okay, as you can see that I have this Fibonacci extension, and if we also take a look at the possibility of the upside, we could see a possibility upside of the 2618 extension, which will be 231. But if we anticipate some sort of pullback, let's get a little bit idea of what might be possible. It could pull back to this 225 level, which is the 618 or the 382 amount of basically 38% of this swing here. Okay, and here's the 50%. So if we pull back down to 61.8%, if I let me do this, and so we could get talk the right number here. So if I do pull it up from this way, so 618, if we pull back to 618, that'd be close to this 224 and also close to this 223.90. So essentially that's what we'll be monitoring. Remember, talk about this this area is the retracement zone, right? The 382, between the 382 and 618. So we're essentially looking for bounces somewhere around here. So if with as long as it hold this area here and then shoot to the 382, then we're basically looking for a possible retracement back up to this 100%, and then the 127. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at for the Dow Jones. The Diamond, the Dow Jones ETF, Dow Jones Industrial ETF. And on the SPY, same thing. We've got an inside day on Friday, and right now we're still looking at the possibility of making a slight nudge up to this 200%. extension, the 254.91. But if it pull back, we expected it to maybe come back down and test this 249. And again, if we take a look at the possibility using this Fibonacci extension, oops, let me do it the other way around. Because if we assume this is the swing up, and then we're going to pull back, then here's what we're looking at the 50%, then there will be a 251 area, and the 618 would be close to this 141 extension, somewhere around the 250 level. Okay, so it'll be 250.6, somewhere around there. Okay, so that's one possibility, but if it continues to move up, then again that 2618 extension would be somewhere around 259.29, so we're going to get close to that 260. Okay, and then on the QQQ, as we said, we're basically looking for this new high to get breached. I mean this all-time high, and we finally got that last week, and you can see that it's showing some strength right now. So basically the FANG stock have waken up a little bit, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later on those FANG stock, and that really helped boost the NASDAQ 100. And right now, if it continue to move up, we're basically looking at these Fibonacci extension 141 that will bring up to 148, and the 1618 will be 149, and the 200 will be 150. So again, if we also taking a breather for a pullback, so we could take a look at this swing here, and if we pull back 382, then basically back down to this 145.50. Okay, and if we get down to 50%, then it will be somewhere around this 145 area. So again, basically probably looking at a little bit more strength on the Q, the NASDAQ 100, and maybe the S&P 500 might pull back a little bit. So again, it's all depend what is participating in the pullback. We could see everyone pull back and kind of test the recent breakout resistance level, now turn to support, potential support. Okay, so and here's the Russell 2000. As I said, the Russell 2000, the IWM, a lot of people was looking at this trend line as a resistance and looking for it to come back down. So obviously the market did not buy, and so it just continued to push up like it wasn't even there. And right now, a lot of people basically looking at this particular swing, up to this 161. And thinking this will be it. So we'll see. It could be, but believe that it could. We could see a little bit of a pullback and then push it back up again. So again, let's say if this is the case and it's gonna pull back, and let's see where it might pull back. What is some of the possible potential level of pullback? I just kind of get accustomed pulling the fib from the top instead of from the bottom. So let me go and pull it from the bottom so we could take a look at these numbers. So 382, we're essentially pulling back right at this breakout pivot high here, 144.25 area. Okay, so we can see that pullback. Come down to this level, but there is a support level here, 147.76. So that could be a little bit of a shadow pullback, and then just make a push, and so essentially pulling back to this 141 extension. Okay, so that is the ETF for the indexes. So let's take a look at the FANG stock and start out with Facebook. Remember Facebook, I talked about that we're basically looking for Facebook to make a new all-time high, and I'm still looking for that because I think you can see that it pulled back. It pulled back to that 50% level here, and now it's pushing through. And basically what I want to see, waiting to see, okay, it's not what I want the market will do. Right, so I'm waiting to see is the market going to push this thing up here to this 174. If we get up to this 174, then this high is going to be tested, and then if it could continue to move, then basically you're looking at this, these Fibonacci extension on this possibility of moving up to 183, 186, and 192. So I think the level once it break above the all-time high, the previous all-time high, then I'd be looking at that 183 level for the next potential target here. And then Apple, you can see Apple, remember I was talking about Apple, getting back into the zone here. All right, so you can see that, let me shrink this up. You can see we have a little bit of a channel, potential channel here, okay, for Apple, right? And you can see that it kind of pulled back, and note that it kind of pulled back near this level here to retest, kind of shy from this level a little bit, and then we got a little bounce, and right now it's getting back up to this zone. Okay, so let me zoom this in so we can see this a little bit more easier. Okay, so we're basically looking for this thing to come back to the zone, because you look at this this here. There's quite a number of trades happen in this area here. So we gotta get to this area. If it could get back above this 156.52, then I'd be looking at this close to 160 getting retested, and then possibly getting back up to his all-time high. Now again, beware that earning season is starting, so pay attention to the earning day, and don't get caught on the earning. If you are doing some short-term trading. Okay, so anyway, just kind of beware of that. And here's Amazon. Remember I said that Amazon, as soon as it come down here, test this zone, then a lot of people will be looking at this head and shoulder, and I was looking at that possibly of a fake out, and come back up, because these pattern is too obvious. The machine know that, okay, but a lot of the retail trader and the dumb money doesn't know that. So the way to play a lot of these patterns is to place the contrary, how would I say, the failure of the pattern. Yeah, okay. So for this right here, it failed to break. Right. So what you could do is, in this case, if you play the pattern, is go long on once it get up to a certain zone, and then you might put your stop right beneath this, just in case it decide to fake some of the participant out, and then continue on and play out this pattern after all the market watcher that's watching these pattern giving up. Okay, then there could be a trap by doing this kind of a reversal, right? Or and the easy one to play is when it break, right? And when it break, and then we look for looking for some sort of failure of that break, right? Then we have some reference point, right, for the stop level. Okay, so that's one way or a couple ways to play those. Okay, so right now we're essentially saying that, remember I was saying that it could come up and testing this 1000 level again. So getting back to this zone, if we get above this zone here, then it could come up and fill this gap once again at this 1032.85. Again, pay attention to the upcoming earning date. Okay, and Netflix, really strong Netflix. You can see that from this little bit of a swing here, right? It this swing here, it pulled back, right, to this close to the 618 or 61%. Okay, and then it made it smooth. So essentially, you look at this, it kind of got in a little bit of a higher low, and then it broke through with a higher high. So right now, taking this out, and it's coming up on this level here. Right, there's a couple of Fibonacci retracement that you could use, and depending, that's why we basically trading against the other trader and try to see what they might be looking at. Right, it's not what we want to look at. Right, and that's the reason why I have two different Fibonacci retracement extension set here. Okay, one is essentially I want to look at this right here, this swing, okay, and then see where it's going to go. So this 127 will give me 204. Okay, that's one possibility for some of the fib trader looking at this retracement back to this retracement zone, right? And then break to the retracement zone, and then they play this thing up to 127. Okay, that's one of the level. And then the other one is essentially, playing this particular, symmetry retracement, this 100% retracement. So basically coming back up here and extend this up to 100%, right? So basically what the this right here, okay, and we basically extend this up over here, okay. So right, okay. So essentially, this is the 100% of this this move here, right? This swing. Okay. Then you can look at this, 218.77, and which is also getting near this 1618 extension up here on this particular swing extension. Right. So that's one of the possibility, because I'm looking at right now, and I know there's a lot of lines here right now. Okay, so you got this 127 here is basically this particular swing, right? The symmetry move. Okay, right. And then we have this upcoming 127 at 204, and it is this 127 extension. Okay, so just kind of keep an eye on these level, because right now it's basically it's all-time high. So there's no way, you can arbitrarily draw a trend line, and that's really a little bit more subjective. Using the Fibonacci or some sort of major move, then you could be a little bit more objective. Okay, right. So that's basically we see on Netflix, and let's take a look at Google. Remember, Google, we were saying that it's kind of never land and kind of hands off, when it's in the middle of this band, because we're basically looking at this, if it could come back up and take out the high, and you can see that, Google did reverse back, after a little bit of a pullback, because you got to pay attention to these things, right? You see this low here, and went up, and it came down. It got a higher low, and also once again it tested here, also put in just a tad, a little bit of a higher low, and then come back up, right? And then kind of zigzag here. So when it broke, you could see this playing up to this potential high here, or this all-time high. So again, earnings is coming up, so be careful. But again, these thing is, you just have to define your risk. And just take your best shot with the higher, with a high probability trade setup. Okay, there's no right or wrong, because who know that if you take a shot here that it doesn't come down, right? Okay, oops. All right, so you basically just take a shot at these things over here, right? Okay, these trade here. Let's say you find a setup here. Okay, and you want to take a shot here at, want to make a high here, and then put your stop down here. That's one way to play it, right? Or you could, basically looking at this break and put a stop right below these level here, because this zone is your basically the line in the sand, right? If it break through that, then we know there's a good chance it's going to come down. Right, so basically, you're betting on that if you take a long here, that it's not going to come down and breach this this level, right? Okay, so that's what the game of trading is all about, right? Make your best guess. Of course, you're not going to make a blind guess. It's not that simple. Right? Okay, anyway, all right. So that's basically the FANG stock. And let's go and take a look at some of the stock that I mentioned to keep an eye on, and see just how it did. Believe one is Qualcomm, right? Okay, so see that Qualcomm is still trying to break above this, this baseline, this pivot here, because I'm looking at this, this trend line break, and basically looking at also the other thing is, this little bit of a wedge break, right? Okay, so if you want to play the breakout, you could look for a trade location here, and anywhere around here for your stop would probably be good. Okay, so another one is, I believe we also look at Salesforce.com, CRM. Okay, so you can see that it came down, right? It booked this pivot. Okay, right. So we're saying that it booked this this resistance here, went up, came back down, and retested. Now got a bounce. So, and it also booked this pullback trend line here. Okay, so probably looking at this thing to maybe come up and tag a new all-time high. Okay. And what's that? The other one is Workday. Okay, so Workday also bounced nicely on Friday, right? You know, it's because see how it pulled back, right? Pull below this trend line here, right? And kind of snap back, right? And kind of do a little bit of a balancing act and just you know, stay above the trend line and then move up. So you know, I mean, if you take a trade here, then you basically set your stop here and go for it, right? You know, okay? Nobody gonna tell you that it's gonna go, you know, gonna be a successful trade or not. It's just that, you know, the chances are, you know, if you play these kind of setup long enough and as many time, enough of time, then if you know, manage your risk correctly, then you get an edge out of that. Okay, most of the edge is not from the setup, it's from your risk management technique. Okay, so don't buy into all these mumbo jumbo about, you know, certain setup and that kind of stuff. Okay, because every trade is 50-50. Right. Okay, let's take a look at the other one. What was the other one that? Okay, at home. All right, that was the other one. All right, didn't do too much, but it's still hovering around here. So basically, probably still keep an eye on that because it booked to this particular pivot low, and right now it came down to the trend line, bouncing back up. So again, you know, maybe it could break through and come up and retest the recent high. Okay, that's the premises of this trade. And then Chipotle, CMG, we're talking about this base here. So let's see, would it be able to, you know, come down? So again, you know, I mean, if it, again, you know, pay attention to the earning because this thing could move pretty wildly based on earning or something, you know. So, you know, the one way to play this is when it come back down here, you know, maybe take a long and play it back up and put your stop just one underneath it. Okay, that's one way to play this. Okay, so and the other one was Priceline.com. Right, Priceline. So you can see Priceline came down to the trend line, got a nice bounce, booked this pivot high. So you know, wait for a little pullback. If you miss it, you know, wait for a pullback and then play it back up. All right, maybe we get a gap fill here. Okay. It is an expensive stock, so I don't know how many you're gonna be able to buy unless you play option, and I think the spread is too big. So I usually don't play these. As a matter of fact, I never traded Priceline. I could tell you that. It's come up on. It's on one of my lists, and sometimes I scan it and come up, and I take a look at it. Right, and it's just interesting, purely interesting. That's all. I think. Here's the pharmaceutical. I think the name is Alchemy. I think that's what it is. Anyway, okay, so it's hovering on this trading band, the lower band. So again, you know, essentially the trade that you might want to look for is what to come up, you know, to this pivot, and if it could break this pivot, then maybe possibly play it back to move up to this band here, okay, to the upper channel. And you know, look for maybe any kind of pullback, right? And put your stop below this band here, okay? If it come up, and if it let's say you do something like this, okay, and you know, you take a stab here. If it pull back below this this level here, you know, we take our losses and move on, okay? And if it happened to move our way, then we just trail it up and see what it gives us, right? That's how you play this game. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, also talk about McDonald's. Okay, I do have a couple of other one, a couple new addition. So Madonna is making a nice little move here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a new high. Okay, and that was it, I believe, from the last video. I basically talk. Now the new one that I want to talk about is Adobe. Okay, you can see Adobe is also came down to this pivot low and getting a little bit of a bounce. Okay, it could be moving up to fill this gap, so you might want to keep an eye on that. Okay, because let's see, you know, we got this little bit of a trend line here also, right? So it came down on this trend line, and here's also this level of break, and here's the pivot low here. So, you know, could be interesting. Okay, what else? Okay, interesting enough, I got Snap. I have Snap come up here. Okay, oops, wrong ticker. Okay, I got Snap here, and looking at Snap, you can see that I got a Fibonacci retracement here and pull back to this, you know, 618 level here. Okay, again, remember this 38.2 is from the bottom here, so it's basically pulling back, you know, 618%, and it's coming up, and it seems to be holding this pivot here, right? So we'll see. I mean, this could be interesting. You know, if it could get back above this 1580, it could get up to fill this gap and get back up to this 1695. Okay, so you might want to keep an eye on that. If you're holding Snap, you know, that might be could be some you know, positive move coming. Right. So, and here's another one that might be of interest is Under Armour. Yeah, you know, see, it's how it based down here. Okay, and so we got a little bit of a base here, this low, and here's the low downtrend. So look at this, keep an eye on this. Right, so you got a low risk, you know, possibility. You know, if you take a long, and essentially you set your, you know, set the stop on below the low here. Right, okay. So, and basically see, would it be able to make it back up to some of these, you know, pivot level up here. Okay, so I think the first one I'll be looking at is, you know, get above this level, this pivot 1825, and the key here would be the 1948. If you could get back above this 1948, who knows, right? It might even come up and test this 24 area. Okay, so so those are some of the stock, and last one, let's take a look at the financial Bank of America. Okay, so looking at Bank of America, remember a long time ago, basically was saying that watch for that breakout near the 20 level. Okay, so let's go on a weekly chart. You see this long-term breakout here, this pivot high here, somewhere around this 1986. Right, so it found the gap up on this level here, right, and now it seems like it is consolidating here. Okay, right, and forming a little bit of a base. Let's go back to the daily, forming back of another base here, which is very interesting, and it's breaking out of that base. So right now I'm essentially just looking at this retracement of this trading band, and if you get up to this 100% extension, that's basically this 2950. Okay, but essentially we're probably looking at these, keep an eye on these Fibonacci extension level for potential price target. Okay, so so that's basically what I'm kind of seeing on Bank of America. Now I believe the earning is coming up in a week or so, so be careful. I think it's on the 13th, if I'm not mistaken. So you go and check the date to make sure that you don't get caught on a position that you might not want to hold to earning. Okay, so so that's and since we are looking at the financial, by the way, I believe that this market is going to be drive up by the financial and the energy. Okay, and with the bounce back from the tech, especially the large cap tech like Apple, Facebook, Google, Amazon, the FANG stock. So although we might get a little pullback in the near term, but the market internal is telling us that there is still a higher high coming. So don't try to go crazy on shorting this market yet. I mean, short term, shorting it might be okay, but if you are playing a swing, that might not be the trade, might not be the side of the trade that one might want to focus on. Okay, what's probably best is to just send a sign line on this pullback and wait until it settles down, then basically buy the dip type of endeavor. Okay, that's what I see based on the market internal and the price action. I mean, I could always be wrong, right? I'm just an interpreter here on what I see based on the stuff that I watch. Not a predictor, not a forecaster. Okay, maybe I leave that to somebody else, to the talking heads. Okay, so let's take a look at, since we are looking at the financial, let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. All right, you see Goldman Sachs is also, doing a nice little base here. Okay, and so basically looking for this thing to come up also to get up to its high here, its recent high. And Morgan Stanley, okay, you see Morgan Stanley is pushing a new high, all right, and JP Morgan, right, see JP Morgan is on a new all-time high, okay, and Wells Fargo, due to the little bit of a internal problem, is kind of lagging, but I believe it's still going to come up and join the party eventually, right? So you can see that this trend line here, look at this pivot here, see could it get above this pivot, okay? And then Citi, Citi is one heck of a strong stock right now. Okay, so if you look at this, I have a nice channel going to here. Let's take a look at the weekly. All right, look at this. This is pretty interesting, right? Here on Citi, okay? And what are the others? Bank stock. That's it, right? So hey, good luck and enjoy the rest of the weekend. And thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please click on the thumbs up to give it a like. And if you're not a subscriber to my video channel, my YouTube video channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a nice weekend.